Great initiative. Thank you so much for volunteering, Pranjal. And I guess I'll take my screen sharing up again and take us to this particular link up here. A- Another quick reminder for folks who've just joined the call. All you need to do is click on the link that I'm sharing in the chat right now and come up here, add your attendance, probably add any agenda item that you might want to discuss, an issue or a PR that's open, and we'd love to take it up, probably providing you with some valuable feedback or helping you navigate through if you are stuck somewhere. And Vishal, do give me a heads up when we are live.
Yeah, we are live.
Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this evening. I guess we are at a point where we can start. We've got quite a few items to cover. So, a very good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to one and all present here. From whichever part of the world you hail from. This is Ankita, and I'll be your host for the day for the website's meeting. So we host the Layer 5 website meeting every Monday around this time frame. We are currently in the winter time zone, so it's an hour later. But yes, we are really happy to have all of you here. Today we'll be going through a bunch of items that folks have, some PRs, some issues that they are working on, providing them feedback, and helping them out if they are stuck somewhere. So we will be covering up a couple of websites, and as we go on to each of those, I'll be explaining about where you can find it, where the repository would be, and some open issues in that area. If you're a newcomer, or if you're someone who's waiting to be assigned an issue here, we'll be happy to assign it right in this call itself. So I guess without any further ado, we should begin. And we have a tradition that in each of our calls, we welcome the newcomers who are here for the very first time. You might be present in, let's say, the newcomers meeting that was held last Thursday, or maybe the Meshi Dev meeting or the Build and CI meeting. But in each of these calls, we would still appreciate if you could come forward and introduce yourselves if you're joining this particular call for the very first time. So I'll quickly take a look at our attendees and see if we can see some new faces or new names up here. So I think we've got Dipanshu Shankar here. Dipanshu, is it the very first time that you're joining this call? If yes, do you mind unmuting and
No,
introducing yourself?
I've actually joined before, maybe 3 weeks
Oh,
back.
oh, my apologies. That's my bad. I wasn't aware of it. Thank you so much for unmuting and sharing that. It's lovely to have you up here. Uh, Kunru,
Sure.
please, I apologize if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, but it would be great if you could unmute and introduce yourself if it's the very first time that you're joining this call. Okay. We'll probably wait for a second or two for Mr. Wu or Miss Wu to come ahead and introduce themselves. And if any of you have an issue with your microphone, then please feel free to add an introduction in the chat section. We'd love to get to know you better so that we can help you, navigate through the different repositories and assign you tasks that you might want to work on. Apart from that, I can see Mahir. Is this the very first time that you're joining this call? If yes, do you mind unmuting and sharing a bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure.
So, a
Uh,
general rule of thumb would be we'd love to know what's your name, where are you from, what have you been doing, how did you get to know about Meshri, and yep, a bit about tech stack that you're working on so that we can help you better.
yeah, sure. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. My name is Mahir, and I'm currently based out of Chandigarh. And from like past 6 to 7 months, I've been working on various Tech projects. Apart from that, I've like introduced Shura Mystery for say like 2 to 3 months back, and I've been like looking at some of the issues like working on. So yeah, glad to be here.
Thank you so much for introducing yourself, Milan. It's great to get to know that you've already started contributing to a couple of our issues. You will find MERN related issues in this call as well. So keep an eye out on them and let us know if you want to contribute to those sectors and we'll assign them to you. Pranjal, is this the very first time that you're joining this call? If yes, do you mind unmuting and sharing a bit about yourself?
Yeah. This is the first time I'm joining. My name is Pranjal, and I'm currently a final year student at IIT BHU. And yeah, talking about my experience, last year I did GSOC from Wikimedia, if you know about that organization. So it was a wonderful experience there. I started contributing to this org as well, related to like LFX. I want to do LFX this time, so looking forward to it.
That sounds great, Pranjal. Happy to meet you here. It's a great time for you to contribute for the upcoming LFX season. I assume you'll find a bunch of issues in this call that you could contribute to, work on, and get to know the community and the project a bit better. Yeah, thank you so much again. I am just going to quickly scroll through and see if I've missed any of our newcomers here. And then we can move ahead with our items. I assume at this point that I'm not missing a newcomer. Um, but yes, if I do, then please feel free to unmute and share a bit about yourself, or write down to us in the chat section. We'd be happy to take your introduction up. Okay. Sure. I think we do not have any more newcomers. So another rule of thumb, if you're here and you haven't added your name in the attendees list as of now, then please feel free to add that, or you must ensure that you have your name up here. And with that, I guess we should begin the session. So we have started a new norm where in each of our calls, we are picking up a couple of standing agenda items that we believe some maintainers or contributors contributing in that segment should be sharing about, or should share the status so that everyone in the community knows where we are, how far along are we, and probably assign new folks to head them in that segment. So with this, I guess the first item that we have is the MDX migration. We've covered up this topic in the past as well, and I believe we do have Sudhanshu here who is managing and is a moderator in this area. So just to give you all a bit of context, we tend to have one of our websites on Gatsby, which you will be coming across soon. And there was a Gatsby and an MDX migration, an ongoing process happening. And Sudhanshu has been pioneering and leading this initiative. So Sudhanshu, do you mind coming aboard and sharing with us what's the status, how far along are we, if there's any help that you need, and contributors can help you, and in general, a bit about the MDX migration that you're working on.
Yeah, sure. I should be sharing my screen. Just a okay. Okay, I have my screen is visible. So hey everyone. Now just for giving context, what is this MTX? So whenever you go to layer 5 site and check out like these sections like resources, like these blogs, right? And all these events. So like all the resources, like few of these are basically MDX files, like .mdx, and they are exported as this React component. So you can see the such information. So previously, a few months back, we migrated one of our if you have been in other calls, so I've been already saying, like explaining that, but I'll go again that we have migrated our Gatsby version. So this layer 5, it's running on Gatsby. It is one of the framework built top of React, and you can make scalable applications, right? And using GraphQL, you can query your these MDX files and just display in here. So yeah, So one of the migration was done, which is Gatsby, and then this migration, there were a bunch of dependencies which were migrated. So one which was left behind was particular Gatsby plugin MDX. This Gatsby plugin MDX. Now this is running currently on V3, which is need to be migrated to 5 because the 4 will is not like compatible with the current Gatsby version. So this plugin has to be upgraded to the latest, which is I think currently running on 5 point something. So that we have to update, and along with there will be an upgrade of MDX, which is that tech stack runs behind this plugin. So that will also be updated uh, like internally with this. So what is happening right now? There is a PR which I'm working on, and I'm not able to progress like last 1 or 2 weeks because I was kind of busy. So this is kind of like my last week's work. So you might not see any changes around there. So and if you come to this PR, there is a long list of files which you are seeing, right? Because most of these files are the MDX files, and there are a lot of syntax changes around there. So that's why you are seeing 100 files, because there are a lot of MDX files which are like have a YAML front matter, and YAML has a strict rules in the latest version of plugin that the syntax changes and everything. So that's why you're seeing there's such number of file changes. So this file, currently this PR resolved that. So if you, when you check this PR, will not get that incompatible error. But the current scenario is that, which I've shared last week also, this build will fail. And if you go to this build, you will not see right now the logs because it's 2 weeks old. So that's why the logs has been deleted. But if when you build this PR in your machine, you will see that getting some YAML syntax failure, build failure. So currently that's the issue around there, which need to be fixed. And I didn't also look out because I didn't get time to check out my last progress from the last progress. So yeah, this is the current progress on that, which I had to fix is this YAML syntax, like to pass this build failure. Now, if anybody has any thoughts or ideas that how we can fix that, if you check out this PR in your own machine, try to build it, so you will get that build error, what I'm trying to say, right? So yeah, this is the current progress on this. So this was the first topic, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Then I'll move ahead.
Sudhanshu, I had one request. If you could share the PR's link in chat so that folks can take a look.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I've shared the PR, and moving forward, like I will ask Vivek, like, did you see that, like you were saying that you can push jumps in just from the CTL just for the YAML format?
My apologies, I missed on that, but I'll be
Okay,
working
sure.
on that right after the call.
Okay, let me know like, if it's working, so I'll then move along with that way. So yeah, this is the current scenario. I'll wait for a few seconds if there are any questions or doubts. So if you didn't get the context why I was talking about my CTL right now just with Vivek, if you can go one of the last recordings of this meet, PS meet. So we have discussed what is the relation within Mesh CTL and this area. So it will give more context, but yeah. So anybody has any small knowledge, little knowledge about Gatsby and its plugins, so feel free to chime in here, suggest ideas. I'd love to look out to that. Okay, seems no questions, so I'll move forward. So okay, next is if you go to one of these issues and try to label out the assistant. Okay, so you'll get bunch of assistant issues which might you have seen have it already assigned. Oh, sorry. My screen is visible, right? The GitHub one.
Yep,
Yes,
it
it
is.
is.
Just for sorry, yeah. Okay, so when you go to this, like you will see bunch of issues has been already assigned. So I think they are already old and they didn't responded back. So I'll try to, or someone from our committee manager will try to remove them and assign new ones. So these are basically the components which are needed to be added in System project. So if I go to the open source project System components, which will go here, right? So these are the few components which are already been there. Few PRs are released, and few need to be assigned and work on. So System is our in-house design system of layer 5. We use there is a own repo of System. So we use reusable components, inbuilt theme from there. So why this System? Because for reusable components, it doesn't across our all projects. So we maintain our design consistency and its principles. So we use System. So now if you go to this source, you will get some base component and custom components. So for that already issues has been created in layer 5. Now we have to get few more components to be published here and complete the documentation. So you might see if you are already completed, few need to be assigned. So if you are, I'm seeing few newcomers around there. So if you are searching for any issues to work on, so this is the good time to get familiar with the project and here. Because if you work on this, so you will be getting familiar working on in this one area, but you will be getting familiar to several projects because this particular components are used in most of the projects from your like Meshri UI, right? And one of the providers, private projects, which are Canvas, Cloud, bunch of these components are being used. So when you're working on this, you will be getting familiar with the code base for the project, how the design system works. So yeah, this is a good time or good area to work on, and they are pretty much like straightforward to work on. So yeah, this is the second standing agenda item. So if anybody has any questions, doubts, feedbacks, feel free to ask. Okay, seems not. So I'll stop sharing my screen. I think there is one more standing agenda item. I think Vivek or Ankita will be going on with this catalog item. I think I'm not aware of it right now.
Thank you so much for covering up both of our standing agenda items on the MDX migration and the system documentation. So folks, just another, because there were a couple of newcomers in this call, we've got a bunch of these open system documentation issues. You can see where Sudhanshu shared a couple of minutes ago, where you could find this documentation. And I'm going to add this link again in the chat section for you. You can click on this, come across, check out all the open issues in this area. You can see a bunch of them still do not have folks who are contributing, or folks have been assigned and haven't been successful in contributing and wrapping these issues up. So I'll probably go through and unassign folks as my to do, and open newer issues up for you to work on. But we still have a bunch of these good first issues that you can take a look at, click on, and comment that you're interested, and we'll be happy to assign this task. And apart from that, if you're interested to get to know how do you contribute to System, how do you contribute to this documentation, we had a session with another contributor and moderator in this area, which is who would be Vidit. I'll probably get that link for you and share it across in the chat so that you can go through and understand how this entire process happens, and that would probably aid you in going ahead and making your very first contribution or your contribution in this area of System. Yep, and thank you so much again for the MDX, taking us through the MDX updates as well, Sudhanshu. If there is anyone who feels that they are confident about their skills in MDX and Gatsby, please feel free to tag Sudhanshu and share your thoughts, or probably help him out a bit if you can. And that would bring us a bit closer to wrapping this migration up. Then we've got another standing agenda items with catalogs. So Vishal, do you mind taking us through the catalogs page, the updates?
Yeah, I'll be quickly taking all of us through the catalog. So as a cloud native manager, Meshri maintains some of the Kubernetes apps in form of designs, and it doesn't have to be only design. There are models and policies, and so policies will be added later, but for now there are modules, filters, and designs as well. You can access the catalog at a couple of places. One of them would be Meshri.io catalog. I'll be dropping this link in chat. And this is a plain HTML, JavaScript, and CSS site where we have a collection which is basically a folder, and we are rendering all of those catalog items onto this one page. So and like I highlighted, like this is a plain simple site. It is based on a static site generator Jekyll, in part because there's no dynamic support, so all the content has to be rendered statically, and you cannot demand them on runtime. So that is something to be aware of. But if we talk about, if we keep our conversation on catalog itself, so this is the catalog. We have other places as well where you can find catalog. One would be Cloud Catalog, which is much more advanced than this. I'll probably share that link. So this goes something like this. I will also be sharing this link in chat. Yeah, there it is. So this is another place where you can browse through all the public, catalog which are published. You can look at the top performers. You actually can, open these out in a live environment where you actually can edit and play around with these, which is a full-blown, environment for you to be checking out how to design, operate, and manage your cloud infrastructure. So do, take a look at that. And there are a number of other filters and criteria that you can choose to view the catalog. Coming back to this particular catalog, because I have been working on it, and it has been area where I have been giving update. The latest would be about showing all these catalog items in batches, but I think that we'll be discussing when we get to that portion. But for now, know that we have nightly workflow that updates these catalog items, and it is available in a couple of places. And these designs are not like system generated. It could be by you itself. So for example, if I filter on designs, and if I open this AWS CloudFront controller, you will be able to see Bhuminjay, who was one of the contributor. In fact, if you click on it, it will take you to Bhuminjay's cloud profile, where you can see all his badges that he earned while he was contributing in the community, and all his designs and his activity as well. So yep, these catalogs are a collection of all the designs that you are creating and are publishing for the greater good of the community. So that would be about the catalog. That would be all about the catalog. And yeah, I'll be sure to discuss what are the latest update that I have when we get to that section.
Thank you so
So I
much
think
for
that would.
sharing. Thank you so much for taking us through this and for sharing the updates. A quick question for all, or a general information. While there's someone who's presenting their item or their PR, if you feel that you have some feedback to offer or some suggestions to offer, you can definitely unmute when they end and ask or pause for a brief moment, just so that you can add your feedback. You might be joining the call for the very first time, but a fresh perspective would still make a difference. So please feel free to unmute and share your thoughts if you have any, or questions if you have any, either in the chat section or while the presenter is presenting and we've just ended. Thank you so much again, Vishal. I'll take this screen sharing up, and we are done with all of our standing agenda items, and we can now begin with all the open PRs that we have in the different sections of the different websites that we cover. So the very first website that we would be covering in this call would be the layer5.io page, which looks similar to this. I will be adding a link because my eyes would die if I do not change it to a dark mode, but it's up to you. I would be sharing the link for it here. You can go through this. And as Vishal mentioned earlier, as Sudhanshu mentioned earlier, this is a page that is built on top of Gatsby, and a bunch of folks have been working on this. So if you are someone who wants to contribute to this particular page, or if you notice there are some issues in this particular page, please feel free to come up to this very specific repository here and raise your issue, or pick up an issue and contribute and raise a PR. So I'll add a link to that up here. So wouldn't take any much time. We'll see if we've got some contributors in this area. And as I can see, we do not have contributors we don't have contributors today in this call who have some issue that they wish to discuss or a PR that they wish to pick up. But we do have an open call for assistant issues that Sudhanshu covered and I mentioned and shared about. And then we've also got a call for volunteers up here. So what I do is I'll open this issue up, and for folks who feel that this they want to get started and this is an area that they think they can contribute to, please let us know here and we can assign this issue to you. Vishal, this was an issue that you'd opened. Do you mind taking us through or letting the folks in the call know what this is about?
Yeah, for sure. So, and this is a straightforward, good first issue. So, heads up on that. Yep, we have, as you can check out from the issue, I'll be quickly opening that. We have two places in the site where we mention about badges. And in fact, at one place, you can actually assign them to the members that are who have profile. So this ask is to add these two new badges like Canvas and Assistant Contributor badges. And as far as last time I made the update, I remember you just would need to be adding some, object into one of the JSON file. But let me quickly walk you through the places where the badges are. So this is one of the pages that is at community/members, where all the consistent contributor who are making impact have their dedicated individual page that they can share to let everybody know that they are contributing to the open source. Any of these profiles can be awarded badges. For example, if we take a look at Aditya's profile, you click on it. It is a docs badge, and which says that he has been very committed to updating and maintaining docs. And so there are any number of other badges as well. So for example, if we take a look at this, there are any number of badges that can be awarded to all of these profiles. So this would be the one place where you can actually award badges. And now, like, if you're wondering what this docs would mean, it's evident because it has some, it tells you that what would be the meaning behind it. But let's say if you're not aware for a particular badge, there's this dedicated section in handbook. So, and by the way, handbook, just like the name says, it's a guide which will give you, all the idea that you would need in order to know the community and projects better. So, and there are any number of sections. We'll be going to recognition. And in here, you will be getting to know all the efforts that you're putting in and, are contributing to the community, how the community, pays back and celebrates your recognition. I mean, your efforts. There are any number of ways in which we do that, and they're all listed. If we talk about badges, so yep, there are these badges. There's currently two categories, like activity badges and then projects badges. So one of them lies, in either of these two. So yeah, the ask of that particular good first issue is that you add that badge to members profile that we were taking a look at, members page, sorry. And the next one would be updating that right here too. And like you will be getting a plenty of inspiration from these existing badges. So I think that should be straightforward. If not, do let me know in the issue itself, and I'll be very glad to help you out. Yep, where you would find the assets like the PNG and SVG, you will be like I have also linked that to those places. And I see Diptanshu already has commented. So Diptanshu, I'll ask whether or not you have the project like the site set up locally. It's a Gatsby site, and it would be helpful if you could also mention whether or not you have been able to get it running locally and see that it's actually set up in your machine.
I haven't run it yet locally, Vivek, but yeah, I'll try.
Yeah, definitely. So since you said that you would be attempting to set that up, let me quickly mention the contributing.md, which outlines all the steps that you would need to install the dependencies and then get it running. So how to contribute. Yep, and this goes without saying, it's on GitHub, so you would need to clone it. But do notice that it's a pretty huge project, and so there's this flag that will be helpful. And that is this one. So just clone this, to the def that is just one. So the pretty latest changes only. If you omit this flag, I guess it would be going, very easily beyond gigabyte. So make sure that you clone using this flag that is listed on there, and then scroll all the way down to this section where we saw the node V. So let me not keep scrolling and let me make use of this how to contribute. Yeah, you will need to be making sure that these are installed, and yeah, like this then has all the instructions that you will be following. Let me quickly grab this link and share with you, Diptansu. And by any chance, if you're running on Windows, we have a dedicated videos on how to set it up locally. So that would also be helpful. You'll probably find the link on that into, if not, do sound off in Slack, and I'll be happy to let you know of that video. So that would be all about this particular badges. While we're on this topic, let me also mention about our recognition program, like badges program. So what all those badges mean, how you can earn them. I'll be quickly also, dropping this site as well. And just to show you, like, I have collected quite a few of them. I'll be, showing you my profile in Cloud. So this is my profile, and yeah, in the badges tab, these many badges I have earned, and yep, there's a way in which I can also share about these. So Twitter, LinkedIn, and also I can embed them on my GitHub handle, which I actually have. And this is in part because I'm showing my profile just so that I can show you that these are also available there. Or we could have also opened Ankita's or Sudhanshu's or any one of you, your profile. So all right, I think that was enough. And we will be talking on the issue if you get any questions, Diptanshu. So I'll stop sharing my screen.
Thank you so much for taking us through the issue and, in general, explaining it to all the contributors or folks present in this call, what, where they could find badges, what they could do with it, and definitely helping Diptanshu out here. If just a general rule of thumb, if any of you wish to contribute to any of the open issues, it would be great if you could not just add that you're interested, but also mention that you've been able to successfully set up the entire repository that you want to work on locally, and we assign issues to folks who've been asking to be assigned on the basis of first come first serve. So if there's someone who goes there in the chat section and mentions that he or she has been able to set the repository up and they wish to work on the issue, we'll definitely give them a heads up first. But don't worry, there are plenty of issues that others can also contribute to. So that would wrap up the call for volunteers that we have for the layer5.io website. Now, moving ahead to the second website that we have up here today that we'd like to discuss about would be the Meshri.io page. And this is what this page looks like. I'll quickly add a link to it so that you all can go through it. Vishal is an active contributor and manager or maintainer of this. So just give me if you wish to work on any of these issues up here or have concerns. He's the person you have to reach out to. Strange. I'll probably add the link for this in a moment. I'm currently unable to get that up, but taking a look at the issues that we have. So Vishal, it's regarding the catalog items, and then you do have a chore that's up. So yep, over to you again.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. So yeah, so I just thought I'll be starting sharing my screen. So yeah, these two are items that are on catalog, and let's quickly talk about them. So I'll also be sure to drop this link in chat just so that you would want to take a look. Yep. So recently, as you can see, the support for displaying models in the catalog was added. So and they are like 325, 320 plus in number. And right now, if you come to the live deployed site, you will see that we are only showing the models first, and after the models, and that is 320 plus items, then we start showing designs. So you can pretty much get lost in there, like when clicking next and previous button on the catalog. And so just to make it a little more obvious that we also have designs, it would be nice if we could first, we could show in batches, and that is 6 models and then 6 designs. And you would also argue that, yeah, there's this filter that is there. So if you just want to take a look at designs, you can do that by clicking onto this checkbox, and similarly for models and similarly for other types as well. But yeah, that makes sense if we showed them in batches. So This PR is about that only, rendering the catalog items in, in a batch of 6. So I've already dropped this link. I'll be quickly walking you through, in the structure that is there, so that anyone who would want to be in future too, if anyone would be contributing, they can refer back to this video. So this is Jekyll site, which is currently I'm on. It's a Jekyll site, and it has some support for collections. So you can group similar content into a pretty, in a special folder that is known as collection. There's this catalog folder, and then there's this models folder. Each of them have 200 plus items, as can be seen from this page. Just to show you, this catalog collection has these many folders, and inside all those folders, you can see markdown files. Now, there's a variable in Jekyll which lets you access all the items inside this particular collection as array. So for example, if you try to access catalog collection through that variable, all the content that is inside it, they will be available as array elements. So that is aside. And similarly for models too, models is another collection. And as you can see, there's any number of models available. So now, what basically my logic was to display these items in batches was to concatenate both of these arrays that we just took a look. So combining all of those two collections, and then processing it just like this. So first I determined how much batches of catalog items will be, how much batches of models will be, and then now we are processing it in batches, and we are not looking through all the catalog array and then also models array. So and it goes something like this. This is logic, pretty simple and explanatory logic, I would say. Yeah, so inside this first loop, like catalog one, we are making sure that the index that we currently are on is less than the maximum number of catalog that is in the catalog array. And then like there is some conditionals that we are processing them. So a catalog can be design and filter as well. We will ideally moving filters to its separate category, but for now, since it was there, I have added that. We rendered them conditionally on the type of the catalog that is there, and we are then doing it separately for models. So that should be somewhere here. Yeah. So there it is. And yeah, I think I do. Yeah. And as you can see, once we are done processing a single batch, we are then appending the index to be +6. So this way we are keeping track of it, and this way we have been able to achieve something like this. So for now, like let's ignore this filter, just consider them as designs. These 6 designs, and they will be followed by 3 models. And if you go to the next page, 3 models, so 6 designs and then 6 models. Similarly, like 6 designs and 6 models. Pretty soon I'll also be doing it in this way, that we are showing 6 designs, 6 models, and then 6 filters, and so on and so forth. This goes on. So this PR is all about that only, and hopefully I was able to, if not very clearly, but let you know and have an idea of what I'm trying to achieve. So yeah, any questions if you have, they are be welcome. And there's another consideration, and that was suggested by Lee, and that is, even now, like we are showing them in batches, it could not be very evident to one of you who are like visiting this for the very first time. So you may be wondering what it is, what this is, and are they any different, or are they just the same? Some of you might take a look at these types, which says WASM filters, designs, models, but then how you know which one is design and which one is model. So this is for folks who are maybe new to the community and project. So Lee was suggesting something along these lines, like having this grouping, which will say WASM filters, and I think he would go on to do the same for designs as well. But I don't think this is a final suggestion, and he may have some more idea. And I'm asking you to anyone on the call, if you have any suggestions or thoughts on how we can make it pretty obvious on like and let any new visitor know that yep, this is model and this is designs. That would be such a help. I'll be going ahead, but okay, I think I've already dropped this quite a couple of times. So yeah, all your thoughts, they are pretty welcome. Drop them into the GitHub comment. That is about this batching. Next up, I also have another quick fix. Let me quickly drop this as well. Oh yeah, so right now if you go to any of the, if you click on any of these cards, for example, if I click on AMD GPU, this has just these data, and in fact in the files we have a lot more, but for now like we are only showing these. And so yeah, that would also be another area of contribution. If you would like to contribute, we can show any number of other metadata that is actually available already. So if this is something you would want to work on, let me know and I'll be helping you with figuring it out. Yeah, but the ask was to add a button that will take the user to a docs documentation page specific to this very particular model. So this yep, this PR is about that only. So since we already had that data, I just need to make sure that we are doing it, the condition is correct and it's all up there. I will be very quickly also opening that and taking you through that once again, once. So we are on the same page what I'm talking about. If I click on AMD GPU, now this, it has these buttons, visit docs and contributing models. If I click on visit docs, it will take me to Meshri documentation. So once again, which is a Jekyll site, it takes me to this specific integration documentation page. You can know more about its component and other details. All right, I think that is all. And next up is a call for volunteers, and that's again from me only. So I'll be quickly going by making that. This one was opened by Venkata, and it's primarily talking about this particular page. So in resources, in community, in talks, if not, I'll just simply type that out. That is a strange, but it should be somewhere there. So talks and presentation, I'm not sure, but let's try it out once. Yep, there it is. So this is a page where we have all the latest event, but as you can tell, it's not pretty latest, as in we have had any number of events where community members, maintainers like Sudhanshu, they were representing the project, but they are not updated onto these this particular page. So the ask is once again pretty straightforward. Simply copy and update all the latest event from this page, like this one. I am taking you there. So this is updated frequently. So you can just copy paste from here to this particular page and make it up to date. So once again, if you would like to work on it, you can comment, and that way I'll be assigning you. So that would be all in Meshri.io. We'll be moving on to the next site, and so I'll be stopping my screen.
Thank you so much for taking us through the updates that you've had for the catalog items and for the call for volunteers as well. So folks, please and ensure that I'll probably add this link again in the chat. I hope Shal did that already, but you can click on this, go ahead, let us know if you want to work on it, and we'd be happy to assign it to you and you can go ahead and work on it. The next website that's there for us would be the docs.meshri.io. It's a place where we hold documentation for things that you can find on and work with inside Meshri. And this is the very specific repository that you will have to refer to. Just a quick heads up. So if you come to this repository up here, you'll find the docs section and all the snippets related to have been, are inside this. So if you're someone who wants to work in this area, you have to get this repository up, you have to get the docs up, and then you can go ahead and contribute. You can find a bunch of these, contributing guides as well inside of it. So if you're not sure, if you're new here, you can find a bunch of these guides or suggested readings that you can follow just to set things up. But yes, without any further ado, I guess it'd be great if we can take issues inside of docs.meshri.io up. We do have a standing agenda item that I'll be covering up after we're done picking up all of these issues here. But I'll just quickly go ahead and see if we've got Fahim here. And
Yeah, just
looks like
to FYI,
we don't.
sorry. So Ankita, like he sent word that he will not be able to join the call.
Thank you so much for letting us know. So we can probably go through what Fahim has been working on and provide him some feedback so that he can, check this website back or this call recording again and go through it. So, yep. This issue that I'll add a link to Fahim's issue so that everyone present on the call can go ahead and take a look at it. He's been working on making all of these tables that you can see up here a bit more responsive. So I'll play a recording so that we can see the behavior and then go up to that particular page and check out how things look. So this is how the descriptions looked like earlier, or the tables looked like earlier on a much smaller device or mobile friendly device. And now this is what Fahim has been working on. Seems like he's reduced the width altogether. We'll probably check if we've got a deployment link for this here, a preview. Yes, we do. I'll share the preview with everyone so that we can take a look at that together. Here's a link in the chat that you all can access. We've got the error codes. You can search. Here's the error code reference. This is the table that we had earlier. That's something that he mentioned he's been working on in the mobile screen. Because this is his version, so I'll see how this looks currently. Okay. Now if we compress that, he's changed the way it's represented altogether up below. We probably had oops. It's not the page, just a second. Mesh docs. There we go. And we had something like this earlier. Okay, so I'll have to check through and see if this was a suggestion. So I'm not sure if this is what Fahim was asked. We'll go through the issue once, if that's the design that he was supposed to incorporate. Okay, yes, it was supposed to be an individual card with the key value pairs displayed. So that makes sense. I wish you were here and we could go through the design if he's had an approval on that design. But looks like we don't. We'll probably have to follow up with Fahim just to check if he's had that design approved. If this is how we want the card to be structured, but would appreciate others present in this call to share their peace of mind if this is how they believe the error cards should look like. Try and put them side by side. That would make a bit more sense. We had them like this earlier. It was an ask for us to have cards. There's a bunch of spacing. It should probably be center aligned and we shouldn't have all that space, white space left.
Yeah, so I think that was the ask that he was asked to reclaim that space and maybe expand it a little or center it. So I think he's
thank you so much for that. But I still feel that currently when you click on discussions and this comes up, we don't have adequate padding. So there's a padding on top, but here to differentiate it's required. It's not an eye candy at this point. Yep, as smooth as this was. So maybe we want something else to happen here. For others in the call, you can definitely unmute and share your thoughts of what you believe would be ideal to represent. And I'll also take the time to go through his snippet. We'll probably let Fahim know that spacing isn't intact, and then we might need some extra padding with the other snippets. So he's got a CSS file update. Yep, it's basically more or less the CSS file. It is updated and added some tags here. Makes sense. I'll ensure I go ahead and add the review here for him, just to confirm that that's exactly how we want the description to pop up. And yep, any other feedback that folks might have on this, I'll pause for a second or two just to see. And I'll also check out the chat section to ensure. I don't think so. Thank you so much for him with this. We'll ensure he gets the right feedback and we can wrap this up. Up next, we've got Pranjal, and this is the issue that Pranjal has been working on. So, it's in Meshri/Meshri, but it's our docs that he has updated. So, yep, we can definitely take this up in this call. I'll add a link up here for everyone to check this PR up. Just checking in if we've still got Pranjal up in this call.
Yes, I am.
Pranjal, I believe you're there. Do you
Yeah,
mind taking us through? Thank you so much.
yeah, sure. Let me share my screen. Okay, so this is a PR, I think. Okay, so earlier what happened? This side panel was not. We were not able to click on the whatever the things like. Suppose we are very. 1 second. Okay, so suppose we are not able to press these items if this is very long. So what I did was I added a scroll thing. So once we are there, if it is goes beyond the screen, then we can just scroll down and click on these links, so it can take us there. Later I was there was one more thing, like when we click, uh, it should highlight it. So currently this is the in local. I have not pushed the changes. So this is like when we click on something, it just colors the gives colors to it. So it is working, but I'm not yet satisfied. And when I click on these links, it's not working actually. So is this okay? Should I push it? I was like a bit confused, because in the PR, in the issue, it was not mentioned like that. So I was a bit confused. So that's why I was thinking to ask it. Should I add this option as well, like clicking on these links, like clicking on these links should highlight this content, content headings, or is it fine this way also?
If I can quickly ask, so I was out of zone, but yeah, I think what would be ideal is if you click on any one of the anchor tags, it just scrolls up to that point. Highlighting, as you mean, like adding some color effect or so.
Yeah, okay. So you want like just like when we click on the anchor tag, that should also highlight this heading, right?
Do you mind once taking through the ask right here, like what was the issue and what
Yeah.
was the-
So okay,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, so the issue was like when we are on the page, on any page, if this column, this is the actual website. So if this column is very long, so we are not able to scroll this, like we are able to scroll the right, sorry, the left one.
Mhm.
If it 1 second. Okay, so if this gets too long, then we are able to scroll on the left one, but on the right one, when it gets too long or it has too much information, then we are not able to scroll. Okay, and we are not able to see full content until and unless we are very down, right? So what I did was I added a scroll option to the to this this panel also. So we are now able to like scroll on this, and I also added small padding so it looks great, rather than here. If you can see here, there's no padding as well, and some content is hidden. So now we are able to like scroll it and click on any of the content, hidden content basically.
Yeah,
So yeah.
so just first of all, like there was a scroll on the right TOC
Yeah,
as well. That might have been removed by some contributor, but yeah. What happens? So this is great. You adding it back and it really looks good. If you click on any one of the TOC content, what happens right now? If you click on
currently, suppose if I just click on it, it takes to the link
that's
heading.
ideal and
Yeah.
yeah.
So there was one thing more asked, like in the whatever the bug is, like should create a yeah. The selected the selected content title should be of different color for easy identification. So I also read this. These changes are in my local. So suppose if I just click on any of the link, so it just highlights the content title.
Yeah, so that would also be fine. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
Any other suggestion or
This
feedback
is
on
a
this from anyone?
Yeah, should we add alias to the right side?
sorry what?
No. Ved, can you explain like?
Alias means like shorten the if the number of line increases. If let's suppose content of the machinery policy engine, so if it is going to the multiple lines, and it can be like misleading, or a person can assume that they are two different things. So if we can increase a little bit more padding, or we can add an alias at the end of machinery.
So you mean like having, so for example, it would be components of and then dot 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 something like this?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
suggestion.
I think we can.
And if we can hover on it, or we can show a tooltip or something like that.
I think there is some kind of underline, like if you can see the components of, so that can help, I think.
Yeah, that is helping. But if we are not hovering it,
Yeah,
so
definitely.
it might be misleading. Or we can put a bullet point or something like that.
I believe
Yeah,
that could be a
those are
good
valid.
or a thought. Those are great suggestions. Maybe we can compile all of them and do some sort of voting to figure out what would be ideal. Apologies to interrupt you in between, Vishal. We were actually at the mark where we need to end the call, so I just felt I should be chiming in.
Sure.
Yeah, please. So just one more topic before we actually end the call, and that would be if you okay, yeah. So I see a reaction from both of you. So yeah, most probably we'll be having this training session on MUI and assistant migration on next Monday websites meeting. So we'll be also making announcements. Thanks a lot for that, Ankita and Sudhanshu, who also happens to be the maintainer in this particular area.
So for the folks, the upcoming websites meeting, we will be taking up an issue where you went through you went through the MDX migration here. We'll be demonstrating how you can utilize our design system assistant, which is already on Material UI version 5, and use it across the Meshri repository and ensure that all the snippets or the code inside Meshri is also upgraded and has been migrated to Material UI version 5. Apart from simply including system components, you have to use a bunch of system themes. You have to set things up, and that might be a bit tedious and overwhelming if you're doing it for the very first time. So if you're someone who is into React, who is into front end in general or into MERN, this might be an area of interest for you. You might want to join the next website's call as well, where we take all of you through how you can contribute to that particular segment and area. And we do have a couple of open issues still lying in and around there, and I'm to blame for it. But yes, would be happy to have all of you there in that call if you're interested in contributing to that particular segment. I'll also take another moment to quickly share this particular link with all of you, which is our calendar. If you go through this particular link, you'll notice that we've got all of our events listed up here, so you can click on it, you can check out, you can join those other events. So this call was dedicated solely for the different websites that we have. Unfortunately, we couldn't cover up the other websites present, but this is generally more related to the websites that we have. We also have a call every Thursday for newcomers. We have at times we have a build and release meeting. We have a CNCF tag network meeting also happening. So that's an alternate thing that happens. You can check those schedules and join those calls if that's something you want to work on. And then we've got the Meshri development meeting, which deals with the front end, back end, and all the other changes of the Meshri repository. So you checked out the Meshri docs today, but in general, the other snippets involving Meshri, that would be taken up, or those issues will be taken up in that particular call. So you can check this repo, get the calendar up. Apart from that, if you're a newcomer or if you are someone who's been here for a while and you get stuck at some point of time, you're not sure how to navigate forward, this would be an amazing place for you to start.
Yeah. So we are hitting some certificate issues, and that would be resolved, soon. So yeah, this is an issue that is happening to all of us.
Sure, but rest assured, once this is resolved, you all can go ahead and check this website out. You'll find a search tab that you can click on, search for your query, and you'll find some other folks who've also worked in that area. If they've had that query, it's been answered. You can take a reference from there. You can also head out to Slack, to check who's the maintainer in that area, or in general, go up to the website's channel and mention the issue that you're facing if you're setting something up or if you're working on something in general. But that would be it for the call. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. For the folks who are working on IST or on the southern hemisphere of Asia, not southern, the southern part of Asia, and for the others who are for whom it's early morning, it's like 7 a.m. or 7:30 a.m. and you're in the central time zone. Thank you so much for being here in this call this early. Really appreciate the time that you have spent. I apologize, we are 5 minutes over time, but thanks again. Wishing to see all of you and your PRs in the next meeting and throughout the week on GitHub. Thank you so much, everyone. See you back on Slack.